All right, happy hump day. It is Wednesday, right?
From what I understand.
I'm still recovering, but feeling much better, but still a little off. So happy hump day. I'm Justin.
Ooh, and I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead. We podcast about a wide range of things, from TV shows to conspiracies, which we're going to kind of delve into right now, as there's been a little bit of confirmation on UFOs. But before we get into that, make sure you consider hitting that subscribe button. If nothing else, the like button helps us out a ton. We've got a podcast available on everywhere from YouTube to SoundCloud to iTunes, Spotify, soon iHeartRadio. So we're all over the place. Lots of different ways to listen, and we hope you will stick around with us. And also, after the podcast, we'll give social media info and talk about our Patreon. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, apparently, back in December of 2017, there were 3 videos that were posted online, and it showed footage taken by Navy pilots that were supposedly showing UFOs. Well, here it is 2 years later, and the Navy finally addresses those videos, and apparently, get this, JP, they're real, and they feature, quote, unexplained aerial phenomena. And on top of that, they say the video should have never been released to the public. But see, my thing is, I mean, I guess people were questioning it, but I mean, I just would have went with the age-old, oh, it's not ours, it's fake.
Yeah.
Do you think this is their way of like softening us to the idea of extraterrestrials?
Yeah, like say it's weather balloons or something like that. But you know, military pilots have said for years that they've seen this, they've seen that. It's always been discredited. But, yeah, there's also the idea that they're trying to inundate us with the idea that extraterrestrials are out there. So maybe they want to pull, you know, as we've said before, some kind of grand like attack or invasion in order to unite the world under a one-world government.
I don't know about it. I'm not going down that route right now. What I'm getting to is I think it's one of those things where they're trying to ease us into the water. Like there's extraterrestrials. They know that obviously if they just come out and tell us, people will freak out, which I don't think it would be as bad as it would have been back in the day. But I could be wrong, because people back in the day would have just abandoned religion and burned buildings. I think now a big majority of the population realizes the universe is just way too big for us to be alone. So odds are there's somebody else out there. Cool, that's what we thought. But I think that to be safe, what they're doing is easing us into the water, 1 foot at a time, and this is kind of their way of doing it, because now they don't confirm that they're definitely alien spacecraft. They use the term unexplained aerial phenomena to describe anything that they can identify. But if those definitely weren't UFOs, wouldn't you think the Navy would actually say that and not really make a big deal about the videos going to the public? Yeah, I mean, that's another school of thought as well. What do you think? So you think this is headed towards a one world government, and that aliens are going to be the way that they're going to is going to be a stepping stone for them to accomplish that? Yeah, man. I mean, it's just like Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen. Yeah, it's going to be some kind of worldwide attack or phenomenon that's just they're going to say, well, we have no choice but to band together under a one world government, and so forget representative government, forget this, forget that, it's all under one umbrella now. And so you think this might be the starting point? Yeah. Or do you think the starting point goes back even further, to maybe Roswell? And this is just the next natural step in things, yeah. And on the other hand, it could be someone not of this world, or it could be the Chinese testing out something new. It could be many things. I don't know if we've ever discussed it. How do you? I mean, with the I try to keep myself, when you bring forward these conspiracy theory ideas, sometimes I say how I feel. Sometimes I try to keep it a little more ambiguous. Some of them are so outrageous to me that I just can't even, I can't even maybe kind of pretend that I agree or believe it. But some of the things I definitely think there could be some credence to. So I try not to be too quick to say, no, it's not real. But, extraterrestrials, I definitely believe that there are extraterrestrials out there. Where do you stand on the whole extraterrestrial thing? I grew up that they're there. I grew up believing in a life on other planets. Now
I sway a little bit more towards beings from dimensions we can't perceive trying to make contact with us, as far as like, like people from Pluto or something. But I've read the work of Zecharia Sitchin, the 12th planet, Nibiru, all these things, come in interfering.
Tell me about that, Nibiru. I've seen that. I've never really researched it much. Fill me in a little bit on that.
Yeah, man, it's been a while since I have, but it's just a planet out past Pluto, and it basically that's where the ancient astronauts, ancient aliens, or whatever came from, genetically modified early humans, to do stuff for them, basically made a slave race. And I forget exactly how the orbit works, if they're like shadowing Earth on the other side of the sun, and they like cross our orbit every however many thousand years. That stuff I'm a little fuzzy on because it has been a long time. But the ancient Sumerians kind of mentioned them and all this kind of stuff. And I think there's actually like hieroglyphs of our solar system with one identified planet at the very end. I could be wrong about that.
One unidentified planet?
Yeah, Planet X, some people call it.
Huh. Didn't people think it was going to collide with Earth or something at some point?
Yeah, there's been people thinking that for a long time.
But so that's supposedly the planet where these extraterrestrial overlords live.
Yeah.
Huh. And so
Anunnaki or whatever you want to call them.
My main reason for thinking there's extraterrestrials out there too isn't so much sci-fi in terms, it's more just of how big the universe is. I just can't believe there's a space that big and we're the only beings to occupy it. And if we are, how beautiful of a random occurrence is that? You know what I mean? All that giant space. It's like finding a 100,000 acre field, and in only one little 6-inch by 6-inch by 6-inch by 6-inch square, there's a little colony of ants, and then there's nothing else living in that entire field. It's just like, wow. So I feel like as big as it, and I'm with you, I'm definitely open to parallel universes and the many worlds theory and things like that. So, I definitely believe some extraterrestrial activity could not so much be outer space beings as it could be interdimensional beings. Or even time travelers. I've always thought, what if the Greys are just us from the future?
Right.
What if that's just, future humans? Like we've taken to living in space, traveling through space, whatnot. We've just left Earth more or less. And that's the effect of not, because we were evolved to live on Earth. Everything in our makeup and the way our bodies are pretty much, it is made to live on this planet. We've been shaped by this planet. So to leave it for a long while, I imagine the human form would change quite a bit over thousands and thousands of years. So it's always been an interesting thought that what if the extraterrestrials are just us time traveling to look at past more primitive us?
Yeah, that's a thought too,
But I don't know, man. So your thought with this is this is the start of moving towards, or this is another step in moving towards a one world government.
It definitely crosses my mind. I'm not saying that it's, 100% that's what it is. Like I said, it could be some advanced technology from China or Russia or something.
There's always that possibility, too.
Yeah.
We're constantly every country is constantly experimenting with technology, and especially, we've mentioned it before on the podcast, but if this is your first time joining us, the Germans, it's no secret, they had some really crazy and out there technology, so much so that some thought it was inspired or even designed by extraterrestrial beings. So, we some of that stuff we've taken and maybe have advanced it like crazy. You know what I mean? Like maybe if it's not even extraterrestrial in nature, maybe it's just technology left over from World War II that we've just through the last, we're not quite at 100 years, but, the last 70, 80, 60, it ended in 40. So how many years have we been out from World War II?
Dude, you're asking the wrong guy.
But you get what I'm saying. 50 plus years, we've just modified it. So there is always the possibility that it is technology that You know, and it might have been U.S. technology, just that these guys didn't have security clearance of knowing, so our government was testing it.
Flub on our end, absolutely.
You know? So, I mean, there's always that possibility. So you have to look at it from all different angles. I feel like to be, what's the word I'm looking for? To be thorough, you can't just automatically jump to one conclusion. You need to think about different possibilities. But as someone who's always kind of believe in extraterrestrials, I got to say, I saw that and it kind of made me a little excited.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, we found that particular article was on Popular Mechanics. You can actually go online and find the official footage. If I get a chance, I'll try and put the link in the description. No promises, though. But I don't know, man. It's pretty interesting. And that's fairly recent. I mean, especially once you get old like we are, 2017 feels like a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Like I'm thinking about we're getting ready to go to the beach, and I'm thinking, man, I haven't been since 2017. And then when I think about that beach trip, which actually, I'm sorry, I haven't missed a year, so not that we haven't been since 2017, but I think, man, I think back to the 2017 beach trip, and that really does feel like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, that wasn't as long ago as I thought it was. I'm getting over being sick, so forgive my slow thought process. But so as you get older, so 2017 really is what I'm trying to say. Doesn't feel like that long ago. So this was fairly recently, and now the Navy just is straight up like, hey, we don't know what it was. Those are legit videos. They're not. I mean, I feel like if they wanted to cover something up, they'd have been like, oh, it's a hoax.
Right. Yeah. Like the moonlight reflecting through swamp gas or something like that.
Yeah.
But that would be quite a stretch if you look at those videos. So.
Well, I've always too, I've always said that I feel like with so many fakes out there, it's hard. There are some real ones, not just. I'm not even talking about just extraterrestrial videos, maybe paranormal, like ghosts or monster or. Whatever. Like, I feel like there's so many fakes out there that you've probably seen one or two real ones and never given it a time of day because you just assumed, it's too obvious. That's got to be fake. Because it's too easy to create fake videos these days. So the fact that they're coming out and straight up not taking advantage of that and going, hey, it's obviously fake. I mean, look at it. They're like, yep, it's real. We're kind of pissed that they got leaked out. Little transparency there.
Yeah, man, like I said, it really makes you wonder what the master plan is here.
Like I said, my aunt worked for the Pentagon for a very long time, and I remember, multiple times growing up, teasingly, but we would say, are aliens real or mermaids real? And whenever we got to the UFO and alien thing, she would always, she wouldn't get like dead serious, like she was about to slit our throats if we said the wrong thing, but she definitely got more like, well, if there were, I wouldn't be able to talk about that. But there are no mermaids.
Yeah, I was gonna say, y'all for real asked about the mermaids.
My sister was so into the mermaid thing. I guess it was because when we were young, the Little Mermaid was popular, and maybe that's why. But yeah, she asked her straight up several times. My sister, bless her heart, I love her, and she is one of those that believes in every conspiracy theory. She believes in every paranormal phenomenon. In her mind, our world is inhabited by werewolves and vampires and mermaids and aliens and ghosts and demons and witches and just everything paranormal. It's legit, and I mean every creak in the house was a spirit trying to reach out to her. So yeah, she was like, "What about mermaids? Are they real?" Of course, my aunt would be like, no, mermaids, to my knowledge, are not real.
She might be tapped into the nexus that we don't know about, man.
She could be. And I mean, I've always said that. My dad and I always kind of, we're like, oh, she believes in anything paranormal. But I've said, what if, though? I mean, like crazy people, well, not crazy people. Let me rephrase that. God, I wish I'd get my thoughts in order. People that are onto something seem crazy to people that don't see the bigger picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People that see the bigger picture seem crazy to people who don't see the bigger picture. So I mean, it definitely one of those things where somebody's almost so intelligent they seem crazy because they see the nature of everything. And we've joked, and been like, What if that's what it is?
It could be, man.
What if she is like clairvoyant or something, or just has this doorway or whatever, this access to the paranormal world, and we don't. So to us, she seems crazy. Like we've always said, like with schizophrenia. I mean, I know from taking years of psychology, it's a real disease. But, you always ponder, what if that's government? I mean, they're hearing voices of people that aren't there. I mean, what if there's more to that than just a brain disorder, but it's passed off as a brain disorder in order to kind of cover up what it really is?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I've my girlfriend's family's dealt with people that have had it. So, I mean, I acknowledge it's a disease, but I mean, it's just always interesting to think, like, what if?
It's true. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, there's a lot of pieces at work. A lot of dark forces out there.
So I don't know, man. We'll see in the days to come. I mean, it might just get swept under the rug. That might have been their thought process. Like, hey, let's.
Well, I mean, the attention span of the average American now is so short.
Right. Well, now it's aliens. Tomorrow it'll be that Kim Kardashian released another nude pic.
Yeah. So.
Do you believe in distraction techniques from the media?
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. Like that covfefe thing, the President Trump's tweet. I can't remember what was going on at the time. It might have been some kind of Russian investigation, but yeah, dude. I mean, it's an age-old ploy. Age-old ploy.
It always and I guess because we're not that big into the media, with us being more localized radio, and we're owned by a private company, so it's different. But it's always been like, I believe in distraction. I believe that could be a method, but at the same time, I feel like it's just an easy go-to sometimes because, I mean, haven't we been accused of that before, like a couple of times?
I think so, yeah.
Like, I mean, of course, it's like, well, of course, if you were involved, you'd say this, but we're not. I mean, we're literally just two guys who decided to make a podcast and talk about The Walking Dead, and it expanded to other things. But yet, sure enough, when we've talked about stuff, people are like, yeah, you're just government's just using you to, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, no, I wish the government was paying us to misinform you. But unfortunately, we're still making no money.
Yeah.
But I mean, so sometimes I do wonder, like, how much of it is that and how much, because I mean, I guess when you've got places like Fox News and CNN and all these big networks, it could be more possible that the government's got their hands in their, in their affairs. Because I mean, even the Simpsons, which comes on Fox, accuses Fox News of lying sometimes.
Well, so. I mean, man, you can look at the major media outlets, and I think there's like 2 or 3 people who own all of the media, like networks and all the news, all that stuff.
Right.
So I mean, media is controlled basically by like 2 or 3 people.
They're just like a small select group of people.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's we're fed what they want to feed us. Different groups are manipulated in different ways, and.
Now that we're kind of going down that rabbit hole, I mean, I know we started off talking about UFOs, and I guess it's kind of all tied together, but haven't they pretty much confirmed that crisis actors are real?
Yeah.
Like that, not saying that shootings and things like that don't really happen, because they certainly do. I've had, some firsthand experience with that, but, haven't they pretty much confirmed that, like, when a crisis happens, sometimes CNN will like hire actors or actresses to go out there and just look panicked or whatever for photos and video and stuff?
Yeah, man. Because you got to think, I mean, if your family just got blown up, you're probably not going to want to go wail and cry, in front of a camera. Because
I've seen one really odd video. Like I said, I try to be more rational and give society the benefit of the doubt most of the time, which is a terrible flaw in my design, I know. But I did see one video, and it's, forgive me for not knowing which one it was. It was after a shooting or something, and it was this, it was, I'm pretty sure it was CNN, but it was this guy didn't realize the cameras were rolling. And so he's sitting up on the podium getting ready for like a press release. And I mean, like, he's straight up joking and laughing. And I don't mean, like, we've been to funerals, and yes, people do laugh and they do, You know, I mean, you go to a friend's funeral or and it might be tragic that they died, but people do try to, find some light in the darkness. They'll, cry, whatever. So there are still smiles and hugs. Those aren't out of the realm of possibility. But this guy is straight up like the whole crowd's laughing, and it's just like, border, like they're almost at a comedy club or something, Yeah. Like this guy is just like a shooting did not just happen. And they seriously tell him like he's just straight up like you can see panic in his face. What? Oh, the cameras are. Oh. And like you can see him work himself up to. I mean, like, and I'm not making that up. Like he works himself up to looking sad for the camera. And I'm like, dude, even if that was just this guy really don't care much about these people that got shot and he just was trying not to look like an asshole, still, that just shows you how unreliable mainstream media can be. Like that's just wild. I'll have to find that. If I find that, I'll share. But that was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. I can't remember which shooting that was, and it's sad that we have so many shootings. Yeah. I have to say I can't remember which shooting that was, but yeah, man, I don't know. So Big Daddy government's just up to something else.
So it seems.
So I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I know this one kind of went all over the place, and sorry that we normally have like one specific subject that we discuss each conspiracy cast, but I mean, come on. The Navy just admitted that there is actual captured video of UFOs. We could not podcast about that. So JP had some ideas of what were we going to talk about?
I don't even remember, dude.
You had some ideas, but we decided to put those on hold. Well, damn, if you don't know, then I guess it was lucky for you this popped up, but we'd be sitting here in silence. Are you here today? Are you awake? Where are you at?
No, it'd just turned into a random rambling, more than likely, so...
Well, so JP lied and told me he had some ideas.
Well, I mean, I've always got stuff, to ramble about. So it's not like it would have been dead air. But
well, we apparently almost had anyways. But then we saw this and we're like, well, we can't not podcast about that. And so yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think? Is that are we actually realizing that there are actual aliens out there? Is this a government ploy to move us towards a one world government? Is it just our own technology? What do you think that was? And what do you think this means? I'm very interested to see what your thoughts are on the matter. Don't forget, you can follow us on social media. JP, tell them where they can stalk you.
J_Radsaw on Instagram and Snapchat, and JPSLIM on Periscope, and that's about it.
And you can follow me at I'm Justin Lloyd, all lowercase, 2 L's in Lloyd, just I'm Justin Lloyd, on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Also on Periscope. I don't use that as much, but from time to time I do pop in. So if you like Periscope, you can follow me there, and maybe I'll see you.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget to check out our Patreon. Every little bit counts, and we're actually going to talk to someone this week about merchandise, about T-shirts, and maybe bandanas, stickers.
Who knows?
I think we're definitely going to look at, I think I know where we're going to go with stickers, though. I don't think this guy needs to make our stickers just because I know a pretty cool option.
Some money.
Yeah, well, and two, I think it's this site, from what I hear, is better for like mass. If you're getting a ton at one time, they say this site. So, but one thing we really need a logo. I feel like that's what's been holding us back too. Of course, finances to pay for all of this, but I think another thing has been we don't even have a logo yet. Yeah. So, anybody out there that is artistically inclined, feel free to send us a logo. I'll make a deal with you. You send us a logo that we use, and we'll send you one of all our merch for free. I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah, I like it.
If you send us a logo and we decide to go with that logo, then anything we put that logo on, we'll send you one free. If we put it on T-shirts, you'll get a free T-shirt. And, I mean, that goes down the line. So if a year from now we're like, now we're coming out with bandanas, you'll get one of those for free. So, any artistic listeners out there who could maybe design us up a logo, hook us up. But patreon.com/thepodcastingdead. We'll catch you tomorrow for mail call. Hopefully my brain will be working a little bit faster. I'm over the stomach flu, and now just at the point where my body is realizing how dehydrated it is. I've had a dehydration headache all day just because with that stomach bug, man, there's like that stomach flu pushes everything out of you. It is disgusting. But so yeah, hopefully I'll be more hydrated and able to process thoughts a little better tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for Mail Call. I'm Justin.
Oh, and I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead.